With 7 billion feet, 7 continents wide, new experiences are never in short supply. So bring friends with you around the world. Mix some more and let your mind unfurl. Getting amongst it, you can learn that something differently than one gets perspective, and fun is what you bring with you around the world. Take a chance and let your mind unfurl. See how folks live around the world. Break stereotypes and let your mind unfurl. Meet brand new people around the world. Get amongst and let your mind unfurl.
Here we are, Vancouver Airport. 4 in the morning, we're a little bit exhausted, but we're off to the heart of South America.
20 hours later, we arrived at the Silvio Pederossi International Airport in Asunción. We were waiting for Sabrina to arrive from Argentina. Flying in from Buenos Aires, her flight is much, much shorter. Sabrina's friend, Rafa, picked us up and is going to show us around.
I don't speak English, man. Fuck!
He's a Brazilian skateboarder studying medicine in Paraguay. Asunción is Spanish for Assumption. It's also the capital of Paraguay. There's around 2 million people populating the metropolitan area.
Finally reached the heart of South America.
El corazón de Sudamérica.
It's a landlocked country.
Between Brazil, Argentina, and Bolivia.
And for that fact, it's a very rarely visited country.
And we can't wait to see it.
Let's do this. Founded in 1537, Asunción is one of South America's oldest cities. It's survived centuries of conflict.
Many light posts downtown are riddled with bullet holes from the old Civil War. The good thing about Sabrina coming with us on this trip is that she is the only one from the group that is fluent in Spanish.
Little advice, if you're ever traveling in Asunción, any little defects like this, just stamp this. Look at that. Anyway, they don't accept any bills with a defect. So, word of advice: travel with Guarani. You'll get further. And I want to brush up on my Spanish.
While Eugene's brushing up on his Spanish, Rafa works on his English.
Only a shot. This is a brown bench. Nowhere. This is a brown bench.
Mi español muy malo.
No, it's pretty good. Está bastante bueno, sí.
Sí.
Te manejas.
Te manejas. What is that?
Like you get by.
Yeah, I get by, exactly.
All I need is my board, honestly. She makes me happy. Traveling, meeting people, welcoming people into your lives, into your home.
It's a lot. It doesn't look bad, but yet it's this too. Like you gotta ollie and then you gotta pull off.
On top of learning Spanish, Eugene is trying to get himself back into skateboarding after a back injury. Or so he says.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like that would be just...
Traveling to Paraguay right now comes with a level 2 travel alert because of the Zika virus. Is that a mosquito repellent? Is that what it is? Or?
Yeah.
So that's what they're spraying?
It's like your home, the same as a home product, it's just that like in massive amounts.
Yeah. The one thing you noticed after a day of being in Paraguay is the amount of people carrying thermoses. They are drinking tereré from a guapa through a bomba, which is a filtered straw. Tereré is a drink first invented by the Guarani. It's yerba mate, cold water, ice, and herbs, and it's drank everywhere by everyone. The more we saw people drinking it, the more we were curious as to where it was grown. Let's just hope it's not grown around here.
Too much of that, I swear to God, you're gonna have lumps all over your skin, and that's kind of nasty.
Yeah. Funky Zika. We decided to have an early night so we could wash off the pesticides and make the best of tomorrow.
We're trying everybody's tereré.
Tereré is for chill times.
Chill time. Ooh, that's good mint.
Yeah,
Mint.
On the edge of the city is the Luke skateboard park, which was constructed with bricks. There we met Alejandro, who owns and operates the only core skate shop in the city.
Yo soy la segunda generación de skaters. Yo empecé en el 93. I live in Asunción, Paraguay. Y hubo un gran cambio. Antes era mucho más underground la escena. Practicábamos, hacíamos skate en las calles, en los parques, en las plazas. Ahora hace poco conseguimos que hagan las pistas públicas, pero antes nosotros tenemos rampas móviles. En esas rampas nosotros hacíamos encuentros. Me gustaba más cuando hacíamos eso que lo que hoy es el skate. Ahora tenés un lugar donde practicar, pero no hay este espíritu de formar cosas para... El gobernador central de la región de Asunción dio los fondos para hacer el skatepark. Este y el de Ñemby.
We had Luque Park, which was northeast, about 45 minutes. And this is Nimbu. And this is about southeast, another 45 minutes. Kind of a very similar park. Almost identical, a little smaller. But it's awesome. Skatable.
After skateboarding, we headed to his shop, which is right beside his parents' shop.
This is my first skateboard. 70s skate. Fibra de vidrio, no sé cómo se dice.
Fiberglass.
Sí, era de mi hermana.
His first skateboard, priceless. Priceless. This is worth gold.
Alejandro wanted to show us the hidden gem behind the shop.
This is your skate school here that you run from your house. How many years ago did you start this?
1 year.
1 year and a half.
Alejandro has been putting on a skate school a couple times a week with 20 to 25 kids. They plan to eventually make all the wood ramps into concrete because the rain and humidity destroy the wood.
Wow. Soren. Can't get any fresher than this, I don't think.
This was our last night in Asunción before we took off on our cross-country trip. Alejandro took us down to the Costanera. Our game plan was to track down the source of where the mate plants are growing. Before we leave on our trip, we have to stop by the market to get gifts for the kids of the families we're going to visit. Rafa guided us into the market, which felt like a maze. It didn't help that there was some flooding going on from the rain. We can't go in there.
Already an adventure with all the rain. Now
Due to school, Raf has to stay behind and study. We would stay in touch and perhaps connect next week. We are headed 6 hours northeast of the capital into Paraguay, where over 50 families live and also grow yerba mate. We connected with Guillermo from Gayaki Mate and a few of his co-workers who are our escort into the Ache community. Along the way we stopped so Guillermo could show us something.
La masacre de Curubatú, que ocurrió aproximadamente a 300 metros por al fondo.
And in 2012, there was a grave human rights violation that took place here. There was landless peasant farmers that were trying to gain autonomy over their land. They were forced through eviction, and there was 17 people that perished.
Y la masacre de las personas desencadenó en el juicio político y posterior destitución del presidente que era en ese momento Fernando Lugo.
This is what it's all about. ¿Comemos? ¿Thermos? We buy a thermos?
No, compramos.
Compremos.
You were saying we eat the thermos.
Oh, yeah. Mucho calor. It's been a long drive. We're here at the Ache community, and me and Sabrina, with the help of Guillermo, we are going to go take a walk around the community, see what we can see.
From the moment we arrived, the kids took an immediate interest in Eugene's skateboard.
You're so cute, these little kids. Amor. ¿Qué pasa?
From seed to the time you can drink the mate, the process can take up to 5 years.
Just like that. So this is where it all begins, right here.
For each crop, they use about 6 kilograms of seeds, which could end up producing 60,000 plants.
This is like the greenhouse. This is where everything starts. This is so cool.
Yeah. It's all under the safety.
It only lets a certain amount of sunlight get to the plant. They just bring the seeds from the woods and they plant it there. It's like, like they don't buy little plants or like seeds from anywhere else. They do everything.
These plants here, how many months are these plants?
Those are almost done.
Almost done.
Yeah, almost a year.
Yerba mate es nativa de ese bosque, entonces
yeah, it's native from that wood, so it can grow there. That's why it's so tasty. Wow. Does it taste the same? De esa variedad.
As we head deeper into the tour with Guillermo, the kids took the skateboards and stayed behind to practice.
There's no much machinery here. Everything's done like by people, by hand. Yeah, that's the reason why the soil is still rich. This project he's been working on for the last 3 years, for them to be like self-sufficient, have their own crops for other types of food.
The mate company leases the land from the Ache, then teaches them how to grow mate and assists them on living on their land, off their land, while keeping their way of life.
Monsanto.
No, Monsanto.
They were eager to show us many things that are grown on the land, aside from the mate. Food that feeds the entire community.
Now you're talking.
It's
machete time.
A tuber. Mandioca, tuber. Sí. Se quedó todo abajo, bro. Se quedó abajo la mitad más o menos, bro. La idea.
¿Y los podemos llevar y comer?
La verdad que...
And they eat lots.
Esa es la forma de pelar antes de llevarla al disquito ahí.
Un purimazo. No. ¿Amarillo? Inside?
Sí, falda de...
Sí. Yeah, summer
Por afuera tiene que ser amarillo. The percentage of sales from the yerba mate then gets invested into social projects back into the community.
Vamos de campo para apoyar entre tres. Hoy Jorge, Vicente, Gustavo tenía para jugar.
That's as tall as they get.
¿Eso es lo más alto que llegan acá en la...?
En producción sí, porque luego se tiene que cortar en la cosecha. Se tiran por acá.
When it comes to a point where it's like too high, they just cut it. To make sure it doesn't, like it grows wider and not taller. Because they don't bring like stairs or...
And the reason for that is so they don't have to spend the energy climbing.
Yeah, todos del mismo color. Como beige, medio marroncito claro. Cabeza así.
Guillermo explains that we don't need to worry about mosquitoes and Zika virus out here. The virus is active and distributed in higher populated cities like Asunción. After our tour, we headed back to spend time with the kids.
line like this, and then you hit this and jump at the same time. So it's like, and then.
This was their first time seeing skateboarding in person.
Hola.
Some of them also took interest in our cameras.
He knows where to put his feet.
Mandioca.
After sharing a meal together, we wanted to give the kids the gifts we brought out for them. It seemed that they had taken a liking to skateboarding, so we promised to send some out for them.
So we're gonna go meet Margarita. She's a representative for the female community, not only for the Ashe, but Guarani and all the other indigenous here from Paraguay.
Margarita has been working successfully with Gayaki Mate for over a decade.
Nuestro abuelo nos dice que nosotros tenemos que vivir bajo un monte para que tengamos buena salud y no enfermarnos. Entonces nosotros decidimos reforestar. Hemos trabajado muchísimo, está todo reforestado, todos son reforestados y hemos trabajado muchísimo y nosotros vemos el logro ahora que no hay enfermedad mucho.
Since we were close to the Embarcadero Park Reserve, we decided that would be our next stop. We thank Guillermo for guiding us on the tour. One guy had a hard time saying goodbye.
He wanted to come.
The air conditioning in the van wasn't working, so we had to make do.
I'm trying to get a tan. I'm gonna work on my left leg today, and then tomorrow you're driving and I'm gonna work on my right leg.
The heat was unbearable, and we were curious to see if there are other ways of transportation.
When you're traveling through the countryside here in Caraguati, it seems a little bit ridiculous to be in the van, so we're just gonna wave down a ride with one of the locals. Hola, amigo.
Quickly, we realized this way of travel might take a little longer. We headed north into the last old growth of Paraguay. Only 7% of the world's most endangered tropical rainforest, the Atlantic forest, located in Paraguay, Brazil, and Argentina, remains. Paraguay has been plagued with massive deforestation since 1945. Thankfully, the zero deforestation law enacted in 2004 has dramatically slowed the rate. The Embarcadero Forest Nature Reserve has been protected as a World Heritage Site since 2003. Luckily, that came into effect before the last of the forest was replaced by soybean fields.
Kilometers and kilometers of soy being grown, taken over the original old-growth forest.
Paraguay is the world's third largest exporter of soy.
And miles, and miles, and miles of it.
Driving into the park reserve is sketchy to say the least. If you were lucky, you may spot the indigenous Guarani going for a hunt. We didn't really know anything about the reserve when we arrived. We're curious to see what's in store for us.
After driving on a pretty rugged road for the last... Sabrina, what would you say? How long have we been driving?
I don't know. Like, there's a river there. We can do like a boat ride over there. There's another lake before the Sendero Arroyo Morati.
This is working out perfectly, really. So she's got a room, she's got 3 beds, and there's still a chance of us seeing a jaguar.
Like, how hot is it here compared to back home usually?
It's not the heat, it's the humidity. The humidity is probably, I'm guessing, 80%.
110.
We quickly found out that this section of the park was part of an all-girls school.
Arriba, 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 arriba.
No, arriba no, adelante.
Adelante, adelante.
¿Por dónde? Acá dobla. Turn around.
These two students were guiding us to a lagoon 13 kilometers away.
I didn't ask, but maybe I should have. If there was any poisonous snakes or any gators, I don't know. I think I'm just gonna go back, just to be safe. I'm going in.
Snake. Isn't it?
But this is like pretty much just so independent. Maybe we should just maybe I'll let you go first, because if you fall, then I'll know not to go.
Yeah.
Oh, ho, ho, ho.
And this is a child was lost and died here.
Yes?
You see?
Is that a trap? This is my chance to climb a 200-year-old beat up.
No, not to climb, to hug, it says. Oh my God.
As soon as we got back to the van and started it, we quickly noticed something was wrong.
You fucked it up.
Oh.
My God. Oh my God. This is like not happening.
What were you doing there?
This is not happening.
No, it was like it's okay.
What are we gonna do?
Eugene got into mechanic mode. It was either that or we had a long walk out.
This is like straight out of a movie. Like we're in the jungle and we're stranded. And we're getting
So many bugs.
by mosquitoes. Okay,
Probably take like 3 hours to walk back, at least.
I'm scared to turn it on to see cause more
Well,
damage.
you should-
I know what it is.
What?
I know why our AC wasn't working.
What? What?
Because the AC belt. See, well,
I'll help you out.
I don't think I can push this.
There we go.
Things.
It's missing the belt.
There's a belt that's missing and it's stuck.
It's stuck in there.
It's
I
stuck
can
in
see
all
it.
that shit.
Whoa.
The question is, if I rev the RPMs, is the smoke gonna come out? So I'm gonna give her I'm gonna rev it and just see. Or do you wanna just drive? Let's just drive. Okay. We're good. Hey, no problem, man. No problemo.
It's an AC belt that powers the AC. That's why our AC hasn't been working the whole time. It's the AC belt that powers the AC. And if it breaks, the AC doesn't work, but when it breaks, the belt's stuck between the wheel and it just starts smoking. It's a minor problem, but I wouldn't go further into the jungle with it.
On the way back, we dropped by for a canoe ride. We went with one of the teachers from the school so he could tell us a bit about this lake.
¿Qué tal, Sabrina?
Jovino.
Mucho gusto.
So there's caiman in the water. This lagoon that we're paddling on last year was completely exhausted. There was no more water, which to me seems crazy because it's a humongous lagoon, but it completely dried up and it was recharged by the annual rainfall, last year, which I'm only guessing must have been a huge rainfall because this lagoon is massive.
It's getting dark. We packed up and headed up before it was pitch black. Luckily, there wasn't any further issues with the van. Well, except no AC. We woke up to heavy rainfall.
Our biggest issue at the moment is just trying to get out of here. No. Well, we're hoping that we can get out of here. We're hoping that we can. Our tank of a vehicle can get out. Might be pretty slick. So we were going to leave today,
but the half-an-hour road into here is all mud, clay.
Once the rain stopped, I convinced Eugene to do the tire climb.
Oh, they even have check it out. They even have climbing handholds on.
Check it out.
It's so full of like the worst, ugliest water. Am I almost there? Oh, God. That's a bad idea.
You suck.
Yeah, way to go. I think he's injured.
Yeah, he's injured.
Yeah.
He's not too stoked, I don't think. Yeah, like that. He's like dying. There's only one road in and only one road out. It's like quicksand. And if you get stuck in that Astro van, she ain't getting out. See?
While we waited for the ground to dry a bit, we wanted to find out more about this self-sufficient school. With a country of under 7 million, an average of 2 girls under the age of 16 give birth each day in Paraguay. There are 600 births recorded every year among girls aged 10 to 14. We were able to talk with Sonia, the director of the school.
These are like protected areas.
Sí, nosotros, esto es en Paraguay. Hasta el momento tenemos ya 6 generaciones de grupos de alumnas graduadas. Inició realmente con la idea de que las mujeres o las niñas de alrededor de la zona de la reserva puedan acceder a educación, ¿verdad? Estas niñas viviendo dentro de la reserva, conviviendo en forma directa con la naturaleza, o sea, llegan de una manera y van totalmente transformadas, no solamente en temas ambientales, sino sobre ellas mismas, ¿verdad? Con una mayor autoestima.
I want to go to school here.
Él quiere ir a la escuela acá.
Once we told them we were traveling with skateboards, they took an interest in seeing them and how we use it.
Pones los pies, viste que vos tenés las cosas de metal, los pones de los dos lados. Y esa vas en el medio, por eso es más larga. Uy.
I hurt my back.
Getting old. Acá, esta rodilla. Ahora los brazos para atrás y ponete dura.
Que no se te tiren.
Probably the first skateboards ever out here.
¿Así?
Ahí va. ¿Querés venir? Otra más. 1, 2 y 3.
After a brief visit, we had to get back on the road.
If my 4x4 skills are up to par, we're not getting through this. Look at our tires. Look, horrible traction. Horrible. As soon as the weight of the van gets in that muck, it's just gonna go. It's gonna sink. Yeah. Disaster. We could avoid that last pedal. The trucks can get through there, but I just don't know if we should. There's a route that goes to the right, and it's a little rough kind of to get up onto, then it just goes on the grass and around. And this is that last puddle.
¡Pasamos!
¿Pasamos?
¿Vos decís?
Thankfully, a group of local workers with heavy machinery said they would pull us out if we got stuck.
Oh shit. So that's our lightning rod.
Connecting Paraguay with Argentina and Brazil is the Iguazu Falls and the Atapu Dam. Both places we plan as our next destination. This tri-border area is called the Triple Frontier.
First thing, the hot water's on the right-hand tap. Second thing, there's cockroaches in there. Beautiful sunny day, Puerto Iguazu, home of the world-famous Iguazu Falls.
My friend runs a travel agency here, so let's go meet him. Hola, Sixto.
Buenas.
¿Cómo estás?
¿Todo bien? Bien, bien.
These are my friends.
¿Cómo andan? ¿Todo bien?
So let's go.
Vengan, vamos a ver qué hay.
What our schedule is going to be for the next couple days.
Díganme ustedes, ¿qué necesitan?
There are many different ways to see the falls and dam. We figured Sixto would be able to help us figure out the best.
Came here a couple times to race, so he's the organizer of some of the coolest races around here. Every time anyone that is from the skate world comes here, he's like a great host. It's 11:30, we have to go like right now.
One thing to note, visiting the park is not cheap, especially if you come from other parts of the world.
At least we tried.
Back to Canada.
Let's go back to Canada. We are walking along the boardwalk to the larger of all of the falls, the Devil's Throat Falls. You can feel the power of the falls in your heart, just thundering.
It's the largest of the nearly 300 individual falls in the area. Nearly 1 million tourists come throughout the year.
Straddled along the state of Paraná in Brazil and the province of Misiones in Argentina, this, one of nature's 7th wonders, I present to you Iguazu Falls.
The Devil's Throat connects Brazil and Argentina. It's nearly 2 miles wide, which makes it 3 times the width of Niagara Falls. The falls can be viewed from both countries. Both sides offer different views of the falls. Although 80% lies in Argentina and 20% in Brazil, some say the best way to see the massive scale of the falls is on the Brazilian side. Another feature worth doing while at the park is going for a boat ride to the other falls. We were a bit nervous because a few years ago, 2 American tourists died on the same ride. We decided we needed to take a break and dry off. These hog-nosed creatures are quantes. As advertised, you don't want to feed them. After a full day of being tourists, doing touristy things, we went to the main downhill skate spot. There we met up with Rafa, who's coming to meet up with us for the tail end of our trip.
Al fondo tenemos Foz de Iguazú, Brasil. De este lado, Ciudad del Este, Paraguay. Y estamos acá en Puerto Iguazú, Argentina. No, en Puerto Iguazú, en Puerto Iguazú. En la triple frontera, the best.
Triple frontier.
Sixto said this is the top skate spot in town. We met up with locals that consist of skateboarders from Argentina, Paraguay, and Brazil. This is their meeting ground. Eugene was curious to try a skateboard that was almost as tall as him.
I would say there's like at least 20 like lushers that compete nationally.
Wow. That's so cool.
It's pretty rad, eh?
I can try? Just like
the board. There you go.
Like this.
Así.
There's a turn. No.
And then
your bum.
around the corner like this.
Your bum has to be closer. And they turn the corner like so like.
Say goodbye.
Good break.
Is that bigger than your snowboard or what?
Yeah, well, it's 5 times the weight. Yeah, it's just like so like fast.
What up?
This is Jack Stripador. He. She.
Over 3/4 of the energy produced by this dam goes to the grid in Paraguay.
Yesterday, we were at one of the 7th wonders of nature. Now we are at one of the 7th wonders of the modern world. The Itapu Dam is the world's largest generator of renewable clean energy, and it's massive. The dam even surpasses the output of the largest dam in the world, the Three Gorges Dam in China. In fact, in 2016, it set a new world record by producing the most energy of any other plant in the world, over 103 million megawatts an hour. In 1979, an agreement between Brazil, Paraguay, and Argentina was made that established the allowed river levels and how much they could change. Unfortunately, the dam wasn't running full force. We checked out a working model that's 100 times smaller to scale.
We saw the real thing, now we're gonna go see a model.
This place where we are right now is an exact copy of the dam. This model was built in 1978. It was created to make sure that everything that was gonna be implemented on the real dam was gonna work.
The whole model is 2.5 kilometers long. The dam being a co-production with Brazil, we thought it was only fair to see it from their side as well. We decided to go on the catamaran tour.
This is the access point for the catamaran.
I feel rich now. Rafa looks a little tense, doesn't he?
Hey, Rafa.
First boat ride?
Are you tense?
Don't rock my boat.
Just a warning, if you decide to go on the catamaran tour of the dam, you really won't see too much of the dam. The tour is so exciting, people even fall asleep on it. Well, you gotta make the best of it. Tomorrow, we head back to Paraguay. Our plan was to ferry from Puerto Iguazu into Paraguay and spend the day in Ciudad del Este. You can always take the Friendship Bridge to cross countries, but we heard it could take hours sometimes as it's popular for trafficking. This was a way around that. Take note, smugglers.
This is a confluence of 3 major South American countries. We have Paraguay, Brazil, we have Argentina. This is the fastest, not necessarily the cheapest way out of here.
Paraná River is the second longest running river in South America at 4,880 kilometers. It empties into the Atlantic at the end of its run. The longest river is the Amazon, which is nearly 7,000 kilometers in length. Once over, you get stamped back into the country. Easy as that.
Paraguay. Just driving en route from Argentina, stumbled upon a little park. Why wouldn't I have a little roll?
Ciudad del Este is the second largest city in Paraguay, not to mention a South American shopping mecca. People come from everywhere to get the best deals.
Ciudad del Este, danger.
Clothing, electronics, drugs, and arms flow from the neighboring countries to here to be sold in the market. The crime rate is high, but are generally non-violent. People in the markets are always trying to sell you weapons for your protection. Recently, Ciudad del Este was home to a violent robbery where reported 40 million was stolen from vaults. It was coined the robbery of the century. 4 people died, including 1 police officer.
I normally don't buy stuff here. It's just like electronics and stuff. I'm gonna try this out. You like it? I have a soft spot for shoes. Okay. Buyer's remorse? Much? Maybe? Go. Let's get out of here. Now I need a dress to go with it.
No.
That's nice. Oh, God.
Eventually, we had to kidnap Sabrina and get out of Ciudad del Este. We headed south 250 kilometers towards Asunción. We had been told that when in Paraguay, you must see the Jesuit ruins. We arrived at night and the ruins were closed, so we hopped the fence. Apparently they have guards. We got caught and they asked us to leave. On the way out, the guard said, "You could have been shot." That's good to know. We decided to come back the next day and have a better look at the ruins.
The whole ritual of today is like allowing some stranger to just pick up your cup, suck on your bambilla. It's almost like shaking your hand, you know what I mean? It's just like, hey.
Maybe more than a handshake.
Well, yeah.
In Argentina, maybe it's different, but like I would only share my mate with someone that I trust, you know? Kind of. It could be a stranger, but you know when you get a connection with a stranger and you can share it?
These ruins were built in the 17th century. They contained schools, workshops, houses, central meeting plaza, and a church, all used to Christianize and control the native population. La Santísima Trinidad was one of the last of 30 Jesuit missions to be built before being driven from Paraguay by the Spanish king in 1767. With having over 500 years of history, it was only in 1993 that La Santísima Trinidad became a World Heritage Site.
There's 30,000 people that visit these ruins per year, 2,000 to 3,000 per month on the high season. And what I found interesting is that our guide told me that that's a lot.
We also found a mate plant growing wild in the ruins.
Me gusta blanco. See? They make them right here. They just bring materials and sit here and let's just drill a couple holes, a little bit of fishing line, attach your bamboo. But yeah, you're staying in Paraguay.
We ran into a fellow traveler named Zane. He comes from Liverpool and is on his own South American adventure for the next few months. He was too shy to talk on camera, but we offered him a ride to Asunción. After a short drive, we arrived into Asunción in a full van.
Rafa.
We decided to go for a dip to wash off the van's stench.
No, hot.
It's hot?
It's hot, man!
We woke up the next day to find out there was a riot last night in Asunción. There was a political uprising going on. Rioters set fire to the Congress building. We were a bit nervous about heading back there. First, we were going to spend the day in Asunción.
Hey! Encarnado. Asunción is called the Pearl of the South. With its man-made beaches and its freshwater Rio Paraná, this is the face of a new, modern Paraguay.
This city is the polar opposite of some of the other places we've been to in this country. No matter what country you're in, it's always important to obey the traffic laws.
You passed the red light.
Oh, really?
Perdón, yo también estaba mirando para el costado si no le hubiera dicho. Pensé que nos parábamos por los papeles. You have to go to the transit office with him.
Really?
In the transportation office, Rafa luckily does most of the talking for Eugene.
Ya por el tema de Asunción, allá que está todo. Y justo en el centro se quedó el tipo eso mucho porque es medio difícil cuando está en un lugar que no conoce, weón.
Close call.
I'm foda.
We are lucky to have Rafa with us.
Woo, Rafa.
No problem, man. No problem, man. My nation.
It was time to head back to Asunción, which is 5.5 hours northwest. We circled the whole southern tip of Paraguay, traveling over 1,400 kilometers.
Driving through the countryside for hours. A highway is long. It's hot. We want to break up the monotony with a little tereré, and we have a little roadside tereré.
It's not ginger, it's coconut root.
Coconut root. Quesado. Need a little zest. Little pick me up.
Claro.
Sí.
The lady showed us some homemade hats and blankets.
Soft.
But we decided it might be too hot to wear, Took.
Gracias.
Para tomar con
Un gusto, che. Chao, nos vemos.
Gracias.
Chao.
Coming back to Asunción felt like coming back to a different city. People are still gathered in protest. There was a heavy police presence everywhere.
So this cross represents the 8 people that died in what they call el Marzo Paraguayo.
Paraguay is no stranger to political uprisings. In March of 1999, thousands protested the president when he was implicated in the assassination of the vice president. 8 people died. We decided to go to the Congress building to assess the damage.
I'm standing here outside the Congress building in Asunción, where no more than 48 hours ago, there were riots that left 1 person dead. The riots were due to Congress overturning a bill allowing the current president to run for a second term.
Hasta el momento no hay ni un poco de violencia y ojalá que se pueda mantener de esa forma y estamos apelando a la cordura de la gente para que la violencia no sea el modo de solucionar los problemas, solamente que nosotros estamos aquí resguardando la institución como corresponde y ojalá que transcurra de esa forma durante todo este tiempo.
Seguridad, ustedes por favor le pedimos que pasen a la vereda.
We're getting the boot?
Pueden colapsar.
On our last night, we hung out with Alejandro and his wife, and even Zane dropped by to see us off. Before we leave, Eugene wanted to track down a souvenir.
Sí, el tema es que estamos todos con el cambio contado. Como es el último día. Que se fije igual porque acá no se entiende. Ahí está más claro.
Ginger.
No.
Is it turmeric?
Hinojo.
Enojo. Sí.
So our trip has come to an end, but I'm really glad we got to see everything east of the largest river in Paraguay.
One thing's guaranteed, Paraguayans are a resilient people. They always have a smile on their face, and you know that they're always sipping on a nice cold glass of tereré.